Hi everyone, and welcome to Dream and Be Reviews. I am your host, J.E., and today we're talking about The Whole Bloody Affair, or as some people know it as Kill Bill, Volume 1 and 2. I hope you're ready to wiggle your big toe. Toes. First off, I want to say thank you so much for clicking on this. If you haven't already, please hit the like and subscribe button. Normally on here, I do reviews on TV, film, and anime. But anyway, let's jump straight into it. I'm going to try and keep this a spoiler-free review because I feel the film still works on so many levels, especially if we haven't seen this film before. So yeah, it's going to be quite fun talking around everything without talking around everything. Honestly, I never thought I'd get to do a review on Kill Bill, The Whole Bloody Affair. The original film came out back in 2003, 2004, and my memory of the time is a bit blurry. We just survived the whole millennium ending of the world panic kind of thing. The world was resetting itself kind of, and I was in school doing a performance and not really sure what I wanted to do with my life. Personally, I don't even clearly remember seeing Kill Bill in the cinema, which I think I did. I think later on, I got into it when I bought the DVDs. So when I hear that it was now being brought back in the cinema as one cut with new footage and extra added bit, I'm like, yo, I have to go and see this film in the cinema. Like this. This is a film that is over 20 years old. But when you watch The Whole Bloody Affair today, it still feels wildly relevant and alive. The way it's put together, the way it moves, the way it looks, it all still lands. I went to watch it with one of my friends, and it was just nice to sit there with someone who really loves the film. We both knew what was coming, but it was still exciting to be reminded of how well the story works on so many levels. For me, this sits as one of Quentin Tarantino's key films when you're looking at his filmography. When you've got films like Reservoir Dogs, or Pulp Fiction, Jackie Brown, Death Proof, Inglourious Basterds, Django Unchained, The Hateful Eight, and then his last film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I know he's always talked about only doing 10 films and stopping. But when you look at that list, it's quite an impressive list. Man, jeez. Across these movies, there's a distinct sense of fun, humor, but also a very specific Quentin Tarantino style. He's known for writing brilliant dialogue scenes, people just sitting and talking, mixing philosophy with pop culture and smashing that together with ultra-violence and extreme bloodshed. Kill Bill, especially in this Whole Bloody Affair cut, really feels like the purest version of that blend. So, the basic setup, without spoilers, is this. A woman known as the Bride, or Beatrix Kiddo, used to be a part of the Deadly Viper Assassination Squad. What follows is a bloody tale of revenge, but is told with a mystical, almost a fairy tale energy, with different genres, different tones, wildly shifting from grounded brutality to stylized fantasy. The world of assassins Quentin Tarantino builds here is in bars, clubs, deserts, and temples, and feels like, for me, an early version of what people love about the John Wick franchise, before it even exists. So let's talk about some of the lead cast members in this film. And first off, let's talk about Uma Thurman playing as Beatrix Kiddo. When I rewatch it now, I really hit home how much she put into this role. The physicality, the fight choreography, the way she moves with the sword, the way she sells the pain, the rage, the vulnerability. I mean, there are long stretches where you forget she's acting. She's fighting. There's times she's talking, she's bleeding, she's crawling, but then when it's time to switch on the pure revenge energy, you will completely believe it. For me, she holds the whole film together, emotionally and physically. Let's talk about some of the other cast members in this film, and let's look at Lucy Liu playing Oren Ishii. Now, back then, when Kill Bill first came out, anime and manga were still a niche thing in the mainstream market, especially when you're looking at the Western cinema at that time. Quentin fully, in my mind, leans into the influence with an Oren Ishii backstory told in that anime style. Now, since seeing it again, especially with this extended cut, I'm reminded how cool and how bold the choice was. You got a stylized violence, this tragic backstory, done in an anime original sequence in the middle of a live action film. And it still holds up. It opens up the world and shows how far Quentin was willing to go to embrace the Japanese cinema, its manga, and the anime influence. Okay, so let's talk about Viva Green. Now, her performance in this is so cool and so good and so great. I mean, her little fight with the bride, one of the best scenes in the film, and it allows you to, for me, set the tone for what the whole film is about. I mean, it first starts out with this intense scrap, brutal scrap, which suddenly dies down and then turns into a conversation about what has happened in the past. And all while Viva's character, daughter, is in the house. And it just allows you to feel some of the stakes and what are the moral guardrails that are around this film. And it's beautiful, man. It's such a beautiful film. The scene is so good. It's such a beautiful scene. So let's talk about Daryl Hannah. And for me, she has such a completely different energy. For me, she's stylish, she's cold, she's unhinged. She helps to keep the narrative thread that's linked to Bill alive. For me, there's a scene where she gives one of the best speeches I've ever heard. A little spoiler, gargantuan, that's all I'm gonna say. But this is where you really see Tarantino's writing and her performance allowing both of them to magically align and lock in together. And it's amazing. I can't complain. It's such a good scene. So let's talk about Michael Madsen. Now, for me, he's the only male member of the Deadly Viper Squad. But it's such a strangely how his character is the most grounded out of them. And that he's the one that was able to do the thing that none of the other Vipers could do. I'm just so amazed by the way that Quentin writes him with such small and specific details and lets you know that exactly who this guy is and why he ends up where he does. So last but not least, let's talk about David Carradine. Now, personally, rewatching it, I've forgotten how good this guy is. I mean, he's not even in the film that much, but you always know his presence is there. I mean, he's charming, he's philosophical, he's dangerous, and he has this soft-spoken monster vibe about him. I mean, there's a phrase I believe they call him the tongue whisperer, and definitely, he's earned that badge. But when the film finally comes to an end and it's him and the bride and the scenes that are in there, it's such a beautiful choice of dialogue where it's not just about blood and swords, but it's about love and mistakes and understanding each other. And David does such an amazing job to really bring those moments out. And yeah, it was so good. Really good. So let's talk about the cinematography of this film. Now, visually, the Whole Bloody Affair, for me, it still works. There are moments where you can see the age. A good example would be there's a scene where there's lots of driving shots. And it's clearly done with an old techniques or like, you know, the rear projection in the back. But for me, it adds a charm, like a deliberate homage to old cinema. So for me, when you're looking at the colors, the lighting, the costumes, the stylized blood, the snow, some of the shots in the club, for me it all combines and works to create this beautiful heightened sense of this world of assassins. For me, especially the scenes in the House of Blue Leaves sequence, also some new stuff that's been restored and extended moments, you really feel that you can't watch this film at home. It needs to be seen on the big screen. So, let's talk about the writing. This is still one of Quentin Tarantino's tightest scripts. From the character development, the structure of chapters, the way it jumps in time, the absurdity of some of the situations of all somehow feel graceful and deliberate. When it comes to this new theatrical version, personally, there are some new scenes, there are some extended beats. If you definitely get to see it in the cinema, stay right to the end. There's some new material tucked in there that I think the fans, I'm a fan, would really, really appreciate. And basically, if you love Kill Bill, you're going to find it's going to be worth the ticket, your price you're paying. So, top to bottom, Kill Bill, the Whole Bloody Affair is an absolute worth seeing on the big screen. Personally, it's worth your time, it's worth your money, and it's worth, as a fan, probably owning again when the version hits Blu-ray or whatever format it lands on. Basically, I'm buying that when it comes out. That's going to be the end of my review. And now I should be asking you the glorious question. Have you seen the Whole Bloody Affair? If you have, what did you think of it? If you haven't, have you seen it on Blu-ray and what did you think of that? Do you think this is Quentin Tarantino's best work? Come on, let me know in the comments below. Always, I want to say thank you so much for clicking on this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. And like I always like to say, if you can dream, you can be.